Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever stared at an Apple price tag and thought, how on earth are they getting away with this? Well, you're definitely not alone, and you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to peel back the layers to figure out the brilliant and frankly, kind of ruthless business strategy that makes Apple one of the most valuable companies on the planet. We'll unpack exactly why their stuff stays so incredibly expensive, and more importantly, why we're all still so eager to hand over our cash for it.
So picture this. You walk into an electronics store with exactly this amount, a cool $1,000 just sitting right there in your pocket. You're completely surrounded by dozens, maybe even hundreds of different smartphone choices. And yet, time and time again, millions of us will literally walk right past the budget options, right past the perfectly good mid-tier models, and reach straight for the absolute priciest option on the shelf. It's a massive consumer paradox, right? Why do millions of people choose the most expensive option? Is it simply because the tech is that much better? Or is there a much bigger, much more calculated psychological and business strategy operating completely behind the scenes? Spoiler alert, it's definitely the latter.
Let's start with the premium strategy, or as it's subtitled here, defying economic gravity. The very first layer of this strategy is the deliberate, calculated choice Apple makes to just not compete on price at all.
Normally, companies are practically racing each other to the bottom. They're constantly asking, how can we drop our prices just enough to sell more units than the other guy? It's the standard playbook. But Apple entirely flips that script. Instead of cutting costs, they ask, how can we create something that people inherently believe is worth paying a premium for? They focus entirely on perceived value.
This is what we call premium positioning. And what's really wild about this is that Apple is basically using the exact same playbook as luxury fashion houses. By intentionally setting those higher prices, they aren't just covering the cost of manufacturing. They are actively manufacturing an image of exclusivity, uncompromised quality, and pure prestige. It's the same psychological lever pulled by high-end brands like Rolex or Louis Vuitton, just applied to the phone in your pocket.
It all really boils down to this idea right here. When you drop $1,000, Apple's goal is that you don't feel like you're just buying a piece of glass and metal hardware. They want you to feel that you are buying into an experience. You're buying into an elite, highly curated lifestyle.
Which leads us to the Apple ecosystem, better known as the convenience trap. Let's move to the second layer and see how this premium lifestyle builds into a mechanical and software web that keeps users incredibly loyal. Because Apple builds both the hardware and the software, they've created this basically airtight ecosystem. You know the feeling, your photos, your quick notes, your text messages, they just flawlessly sync across every screen you own. It creates a frictionless experience that is really hard to beat. I mean, just think about how ridiculously smooth this actually is in practice. Step 1, your phone connects to your Mac without you doing a thing. Step 2, you pop in your AirPods and they switch automatically to whatever device you're looking at. Step 3, you walk up to your computer and your Apple Watch just unlocks your Mac before you even touch a key. It is a rapid, beautifully engineered system. But here's the catch, and honestly, it's the absolute genius of their strategy. Once you own 2 or 3 of these devices, switching to another brand becomes a total nightmare. To leave, you'd have to untangle all your synced photos, your messages, all those automatic connections. It's a beautifully designed, incredibly comfortable trap that basically secures Apple's loyal customer base for years. Next up is the value of trust and building a global brand. Peeling back this third layer brings us to the intangible psychology of the brand itself, an identity that they have been ruthlessly protecting for decades.
You see, Apple hasn't just popped up overnight. They've spent decades building one of the absolute strongest brands in the world, and they do it through this relentless consistency. Their ads are famously simple. Their retail stores are meticulously designed, down to the very tables the phones sit on. And their global product launches, they generate massive, almost unprecedented excitement. And all of that careful presentation leads to this single, vital truth. People don't just buy an Apple device because they compared the technical specs on some spreadsheet. They buy it because they implicitly trust the brand. In a market that is flooded with confusing hardware variations and endless price wars, Apple offers a sanctuary of reliability. That trust validates the premium price tag before the box is even opened.
So let's look beyond the hardware at the service engine. We're diving into the deepest part of the iceberg here to see how that initial high price fuels their massive back-end operations.
That massive upfront price tag? It's doing a ton of heavy lifting behind the scenes. It directly funds their intense research and engineering, their groundbreaking custom chips, years of free software updates, top-tier customer support, and of course,
the huge overhead of running those beautiful retail stores. It ensures this continuous stream of elite innovation.
But here is where the real long-term business lies. That initial hardware purchase is really just a gateway directly into these powerful recurring revenue streams. Think about it. Cloud storage for your photos, Apple Music, Apple TV, app sales. These services add daily value for you, but crucially, they create incredibly reliable recurring revenue for Apple long after that phone is paid off.
The brilliance of this becomes completely obvious when you compare the two models. A traditional company focuses on a one-time transaction. They sell you a gadget and just cross their fingers that you come back in 3 years. Apple's actual goal is maintaining a highly profitable, long-term relationship with you through ongoing services and that deep ecosystem loyalty. The phone is really just the key to the front door.
Which brings us to our conclusion: selling an experience. So, what's the big takeaway from this explainer when you're staring down those hefty price tags in the future?
The reality is, the cost isn't just about the physical raw materials inside the phone. When you pay that premium, you are paying for this entire interconnected web. You're funding the strong branding, that sticky ecosystem, the continuous innovation, and the long-term services. Whether you personally think it's worth it or not, one thing is for sure: Apple isn't just selling technology.
They are selling an entire experience, and millions of people clearly believe that experience is worth paying a premium for. So now that we've peeled back all the layers of this fascinating strategy, I want to leave you with this final thought to consider the next time you walk into a store to upgrade your tech. Knowing everything you know now about the premium positioning and that super convenient ecosystem trap, would you pay extra for an iPhone or would you choose another brand?